Start by creating a new bash file or any file .sh. So I created a file called example.sh, and you'll see I have a terminal here. So if we write here echo hello and make the program executable with this command, so chmod +x example.sh, that makes it executable. Now you can run it. So you'll see it outputs hello from the shell command. Now you can use XDO tool here, and or even start programs. So let's say we start a program, mousepad or any text editor, add an ampersand sign at the end so that it doesn't hang after executing. We'll make it just wait for, let's say, 2 seconds to make sure that it started, and then you can use XDO tool to type in the window. So XDO tool, type, and we'll make it type hello. Save it. Then if we run the program, you see it starts the text editor, mousepad, and then it typed into the window. Now what you want to do is to add the quotes around it so that it accepts spaces in there. So now you can type some message and it will also type the spaces. If you try to type without the quotes, it gets messy, so it won't type spaces and so on. So use quotes when you want to type into the window. Then if we run the program, the bash script, you'll see it starts the mousepad program and types the message into the window. Now if you want to add a new line, you can't just add a new line character. So to add a new line, you have to split these two. So 2 separate commands. And then we'll make XDO tool type the enter key. So XDO tool key and then kp underscore enter. So now this will write 2 lines into the window. So you'll see there's the enter key is actually used. That's kp underscore enter. So this line will press the enter key. You can use the keyboard shortcuts from programs. So if you look in the menu here, you see there's many shortcuts written on the right. So Ctrl N for new file, Ctrl O for open, Ctrl S for saving, Ctrl Q for quitting. And most of the menu items have this shortcut. So you'll see not all of them have a shortcut key, but many of the essential functions have a shortcut. So for example, closing the window, you can use the key combination Ctrl Q. If you start another program, this key combination might actually be different. But for mousepad, it's Ctrl Q. So you can use that shortcut inside the bash script. So if we type Ctrl XDO tool key Ctrl Q with the quotes around it, that will type the key combination Ctrl Q. Now you want to have a sleep in there so that it doesn't immediately happen, and perhaps also sleep after. And what you will see then is a pop-up window asking you if you want to save the file. So if you now run it, and you'll see after a second you get this window. Now to get rid of this window, this might not actually depends on the program if you get this window, but for this program you have this save changes window. So you can type the left key twice and press enter. Now you can do that from the bash script as well. So XDO tool key left, and let's add another delay in there. Press it again, and then you want to press the enter key. So we run the program. You'll see it starts typing, and then the quit window pops up. You'll see it move to the don't save option and presses the enter key, and then it's closed. So using this bash script you can do basic automation of the window app. So what if you already have the program running? So let's say I start the text editor mousepad. It's already running in the background. And what if instead of starting it from the script, it's already started? Then you can select the window. So with this line, XDO tool search, add the flag only visible, and the class is the window title name. So in this case it's mousepad. and you'll say window activate. That brings the window to the front, and then it continues as normal. So you can use this line if the program is already running, and then it will select the existing window and continue the program as we defined. So if you run the program, the script, you'll see it brings the window to the front and does execute the program as previously. So you can use that if the program is already running. So if you run the program manually, it's already running inside, then it will find the running window and execute. So you'll see it brings it to the front, and otherwise it does exactly the same. So it depends on whether you want to run the program from the code. So using the program name with the ampersand sign on the end will start the program, or if it's already running, you can use this line to select the window. You can make the mouse move with a bash script as well. So if we use xdo2 again inside the bash script, then say mouse move, and let's say we put it at position 1010. So this is our bash script. You might want to define bash on top, and if we run it, you'll see the mouse move to the top left of the screen. Now you can move it anywhere. So let's say you put it at 300, run it, and you'll see now the mouse moves to this position. So if we run it again, the mouse moves again. Now you can make the mouse move using mouse move, but you can also make it click. So if we add a 1 second sleep in there and make it click, so the left mouse click is 1. If you run it, you'll see it clicks on the menu on top. Of course, you can then move again through the menu with mouse move. So let's say add another sleep and make it move again. So you see now it moves in the menu, and you can navigate any program like that. So you can move the mouse anywhere on the screen and make it click using the 1 here. So that's a left mouse click. And by adding the sleep is necessary to make sure that the mouse is already moved. So you don't want to do everything at once. So that's why you add the sleep in between. So you can make the mouse move anywhere in a program and click on items. Now you probably want to move the mouse to an existing window. So I started mousepad in the background and just select it. Then you can get the window coordinates by typing this command, so xdo2 get active window. So if you type that in the terminal, you'll get the window ID, and the window ID can be combined with the command xwinInfo, which will output information on the window. So if we type the command xwinInfo and then click on any window, you'll see you get the width of the window, the height of the window, and if you scroll up, you also get the coordinate of the window, so the x position and the y position. So that's what we do here. We get the window ID, you see window ID, and then we use that to get the x and the y position. So if we run the program, you'll see it selects mousepad and it's at position 0, 0. So I moved the window a bit, and now if we run it, you'll see it selects the window and it shows the x and y position. So now that we have the x and y position, we can use it. If you want, you can also get the width and height in the same manner. So we get the window ID here, and we use the window ID in the command xwinInfo to actually get the width and the height. So if you run this program, you'll see we have the x and y position as well as the width and height. Now you can use the x and y position to move the mouse there. So let's say we, instead of these numbers hard-coded, we say we move it to x and y and make a delay for a second. So now if we start it, you'll see the mouse has actually moved to just below the window decoration. So now if you were to run it and click, you'd see the menu open automatically. So let me just run it. See the mouse moves to the top left and clicks on the menu. So this is just the x and y position is just below the window decoration. And the mouse can be anywhere. So now it's on the right bottom. If we run it, you'll see the mouse is on the window menu again, so on the top left. Now this is great because in many times when you automate, you might have different screen sizes and so on. So if you select a window and get the X and Y position, you might also want the width and height, but you can move the mouse on top of a window, of any window, no matter where it is on the screen. So you don't have to guess or exactly position the window, you can just get the X and Y position. Now you can download the script as a touched file. Sometimes there's multiple windows for one program. Like, let's say we start mousepad several times. So we start mousepad, new window, and do that again. Maybe even 4 times. So now there's 4 mousepad windows. And you can loop over those windows. So first we get the window IDs using this line. So we search for the name mousepad, and this will return all the IDs stored in the variable WIDS. Then you can loop over those windows. So for every ID, so this gets the window IDs. For every ID in the window IDs, you can do something. So let's say we activate the windows. So now if you run the program, you'll see all of the windows are activated. You can also resize the windows. So if you say XDO2 window size with your ID, and then whatever window size you want. So let's say we want 600 by 200. So that's 200 width and 600 height. And if you run it, you'll see 600 height and 200 width for all of the windows. So all of the 4 windows are here. And I just mixed up the width and height. So this 600 width and 200 height. Now you'll see all the windows like this. So you can interact with multiple windows. So this line will give you all of the window IDs, and using a for loop you can loop over every window, activate a window, and resize it. Now this loop really goes over all the windows. So let's open some windows. New window. You'll see they have different titles. So Untitled 3, Untitled 4, Untitled 5. So we have different windows open. And we can really show that. So let's say we echo or show the window ID. Then it activates. We wait 1 second, wait 1 second again, and then minimize it. So then you'll see every window show one by one, because you can activate the window, but also minimize it again. So you'll see if you run it, it goes over every window. So window 5, window 4, and so on. And in the terminal, you're seeing the window ID. So this is how you can loop over windows of an existing program that's running. So in this case, mousepad is running, and you can select the different windows in this way. So this will get the window IDs, then loop over it. You can activate the window and also deactivate it again. Now it's important to note that when we're searching the windows, we use the flag only visible. So that will only loop over the windows that are visible. So because everything is minimized, nothing is visible now. So if you run it, nothing opens because none of the mousepad windows are visible. However, if we open all of the windows and say, change the size to say 400, and let's say we don't minimize it, then the windows stay visible. So you'll see now the windows are visible and it loops over the windows. You can run it a second time and it will still run because all of the windows are visible. So that's important with this, to keep in mind with this flag, that it only loops over the visible windows. So what if you don't have all the windows visible? So let's say we open mousepad, open some windows, and we minimize all of them. So then if you run it, it only grabs the visible windows. You can also grab every window, even the invisible ones. So then you use this instead. So remove the flag only visible, and remove this line or comment it. And then you want to raise the window. So XDO2 window raise with your ID. Then if you run the program, you'll see the windows raise one by one. Now this may not work on every window manager, so just try it out. And you see it loops over windows, over every window, and try to raise them. So you'll see those windows were minimized, and now it's raising them. And if you were to run it another time, you see some windows cannot be raised, but then it will raise every window, even the ones that are minimized. So just to demo, we will minimize them. So the windows are minimized. Let's remove this echo line here and run it. And you'll see not every window can be raised, but the ones that can are then activated again. So that's how you can loop over windows, the same program. Now if you have a bash script, XDO2 can also type bash variables in there. So let's say we put a sleep of 5 seconds, say XDO2 type, and then we want to type the date, so that's like this. And XDO2 will type the date inside the whatever program you selected. So I'll select ABI words, which is just an office processor. So let me just open it, and you'll see within a few seconds it types the date in there. So that's nice when you want to add bash variables into your desktop programs, or when you need to do a specific macro. And you can also use custom formatting. So if we say date, we create a variable date, and then specify the formatting. So this is formatting for date, which is, so this is year, month, day, and then hour, minute, second. That's stored in the variable date, and then XDO2 types that into your desktop window. So if we run this program, select your word processor, and you'll see it types the word in the format we specified. Now if instead of this American date you want European date, we can say day, month, year, and then we just remove this line here, and perhaps you want to add another spacing in there. So if you run it, select your word processor, and it will immediately start typing the European date format, with including the time. You can also link your scripts to keyboard shortcuts. So in this case I put the sleep to 1 second just to not wait too long, and it types the date using XDO2. So you can link it to a keyboard shortcut, and that really depends on which desktop you're using. But all of the major desktops, so XFCE, Genome, KDE, and all the others have keyboard shortcuts. So in XFCE, go to Settings, Keyboard, Application Shortcuts, and click Add. Then select your script. So I will select our script, win.sh. Click OK. Then the keyboard key or shortcut you want to link it to. So I'll select the home key. And now whenever I press the home key, this script will be executed. So if I'm in, say, this word processor and I press the key, you'll see it types the date automatically. If I press it again, and this now works in any program, so the keyboard shortcut is executed wherever I am. So whenever I press the shortcut key, it executes it, no matter which program you are using. So that's one of the nice things with the bash scripting, is that you can use or define keyboard macros that work everywhere. And so for example, if we were also to type XDO2 date, so then it will type date in front of it. Save the script, and I just remove this. And if I press the key, you'll see it types date along with the actual date. Now let's say you also want to type a space, so XDO2 key space, which is right after the date, and we don't want the time, so let's remove the time and perhaps the date in European format. So I often use slashes in Europe. And when you use the ABI word, press the shortcut key, you'll see now there is a space in there along with the slashes. So that's, you can automate keyboard macros that way. And this works for any bash script. So I created a new bash script called helloworld.sh, which will just type this message. And it does so after sleeping 1 second. Now make it executable using chmod +x and then your script name. And link it to a keyboard shortcut. So I added it. You'll see the script name here with Ctrl Home shortcut. You can add it again if you want. So click Add, select your script and your shortcut. So Ctrl Home. And now whenever I press Ctrl Home, it will type this message. So I open the word processor here, press Ctrl Home. You'll see it types the message. And that happens no matter which program I'm using. So that works in web browsers and text editors. For example, if I open the simple mousepad and type Ctrl Home, you'll see it types the same message. It executes the same bash script. If you want it to type enters, you can use the return statement. So you'll have to xgo2 type twice. And xgo2 key return. So this line will add an enter in there. And if I now press the keyboard shortcut, you'll see we have 2 lines of text. And you can really script your macro that way. So perhaps you want another line, and say another line here, and maybe show the date here, or the author. Maybe also the date. So now it will type a lot of things. And if I remove this, press the shortcut key, you see it outputs or writes all of that text in the whatever program you're using. So this can also be the web browser, or it can be any Office processor or text editor, or even a terminal. So let's open some terminal and say we open some very simple text editor, press the shortcut key, and you'll see it also works in the terminal program. Now I've created 2 scripts called record.sh and play.sh. If you install a program called xmacro and download these scripts, then you can record your key presses anywhere. So make them executable using chmod +x and then record.sh and play.sh. So record.sh, play.sh. And all this does is use the program xmacro, so xmacro rec to record and xmacro play to replay. So link that to your keyboard shortcuts. So go where, depending on your desktop. So I'm using the XFCE desktop here. And you'll see I linked the record.sh and play.sh. And now we can use the keyboard shortcuts everywhere. So download these 2 scripts, I've attached them, and install the program xmacro. So now if I press the keyboard shortcut, it starts recording. So I can say type anything, press the escape key to stop recording, and if I press the play key, you'll see it replays it. And this now works in any program. So if I open, say, Notepad and press the play key, you'll see it's typing the same thing. Or if I go in even a simple editor like Nano and press the play key, you'll see now it replays that. And this all is very useful. So let's say you have a list of items. Different items. So then I can start recording. So let's say I want to add a star in front. Press the escape key. And now whenever you want to do that again, just press the play key again. So you'll see that automatically does that. So now you have keyboards available, keyboard macros available in any program. So even if you were to use mousepad and you have, say, a list of items, and let's say something else, fruit, and replay it, so you'll see it does it automatically. So you can really define any kind of macro you want. Even inside the web browser this will work, or inside the terminal. So we can record some macro. Press the escape key, and if I press Ctrl 2, it will replay that. And this works in any program. So if I press Ctrl 2, you'll see it retypes that. And on top, you might also see notification, because I make bash, the bash script, send you notifications. So if you look inside the script, you'll see I'm using notify send to show the notifications. So download these two scripts and you can record and replay keyboard macros anywhere on your desktop in any program. Now there's a program that lets you record the desktop called Cine. So let me show you the man page for that. So the program is named Cine, C-N-E-E, and this lets you record and replay your Linux desktop. Now this is only for the X Windows system, so make sure you're using the X Windows system and not Wayland. And what this does, it records what you're doing into a file, and you can then later replay that file. Okay, so how does that work? Well, first you need to install Cine. If you type Cine and it shows command not found, it's not installed. In this case, this is what you see when it is installed. So in order to install it, you can use your package manager and type Cine. So on Ubuntu you can run this command, which will install Cine on your system. So once Cine is installed, you can record it using this command. So let me zoom in a bit. So Cine, we want to record, so --record. We want to specify an output file using -o, that means save the recordings into the file. You can specify any file name here you want. In this case the file name is events.xnr. We want to record the mouse, and the last flag is not necessary. So this would just record the mouse. If you type Cine -record to -o for the output file, save it into the output file, and we want to record the mouse. So press enter, and this will start recording your mouse. So let's open, for example, the calculator and start actually doing some calculations. You can do this as long as you want. Okay, let's go back, and now we press Ctrl C to stop recording. And what we can do next is to use Cine to replay it. All the output has been saved into the file events.xnr. So if you recall, when we recorded it, we saved into events.xnr, and we can replay that. So Cine replay, and we replay the file events.xnr. So if we press enter, you'll see it opens the calculator just as we recorded, and it starts doing exactly the same, including with the time delay. So this is a very good program to record and replay what you're doing on the desktop, because it's also very easy to do. You can save your recordings into a file and then replay those recordings. You can record both the keyboard and the mouse. So to do that, type Cine with your record flag, specify the file, so -o for the output file, your file name, and then we want to record both the keyboard and the mouse, so the dash symbol twice for your recording. And then hit enter, and it will record both your keyboard and mouse. So let's do that. Let's run this command. It's recording both the keyboard and the mouse. So what we'll do is to do anything on the desktop. So let's say we open an Office program and actually start working. So whatever you want in there. Of course, all the button clicks work as well, because what we're doing is recording both the keyboard and the mouse. So whatever it is you're doing, you can record that using this program. and it will do whatever you want it to do, right? So whatever you're doing on the desktop, it will record it, and you can then replay that. Okay, let's quit doing recording. So we'll close the program. You can even save files or really record your whole desktop session. Then press Ctrl+C, and now we can replay it. So if we go to Scene Replay Events, you'll see it starts actually redoing what we were doing. So I'm not pressing any button now. I'm not pressing the key, and I'm not pressing the mouse. You see it's doing exactly what I did before. And so you can record your whole desktop session, whatever it is you're working on, and then replay that session. So whatever it is you want to automate on the desktop, you can do that using the program Scene. And you'll see it just keeps doing exactly what I did the whole time. So once you record something, you can replay that as many times as you want using the Scene program. And actually this is easier than using the XDO tool, because you can just do what you want it to do, save it into a file and replay it. You don't have to you don't have to search for windows and those kind of things. Now, one of the things to keep in mind is that this program doesn't see the screen, so the output's exactly the same, but it doesn't know exactly what it is you're doing. So if you change your desktop environment or close windows or stuff like that, if you don't start with exactly the same scene as in the beginning, what will happen is that things go messed up. So you want to always start from the same starting point, from the same desktop. Otherwise things can get messed up. So the commands Scene, this command to record. You can also choose to only record, for example, the keyboards and not the mouse, or only the mouse, or both. So that's what you can do. You can specify any file name you want, and then once you want to replay it, just type Scene replay and your file name that you want to replay. You can turn screen recording into commands. So if I open a terminal and type the command rec, I made this command, it will start recording the desktop for 1 minute. So on the bottom corner, right corner, you see a pop-up saying it will record for 1 minute. And now whatever we do, it will be recorded. Both the keyboard and the mouse for the time period of 1 minute. And so regardless of what I do, it will record and replay that. So whatever you search for, it's then recording it. And it does so for exactly 1 minute, because that's how I made the script. Now, once it's finished recording, it will go back into the bash shell. And in this case, we didn't do something for 1 minute yet. 1 minute has not yet passed. So you might want to open something. Okay. 1 minute has passed. You'll see finished recording here. And now I made another command called replay, which replays the whole screen recording. So if we start it, you'll see it replaced recording notification. Then it starts doing the exact same things as we recorded in exactly the same order. So this is a great way to automate your desktop. Just open a terminal and you can type record or replay, and it will replay and record everything you do. So that's including if you do something on the web or a web app, you can automate that. It's just recording everything on your screen. So regardless of whether that's a web or desktop or terminal, it's recording everything. And I made these commands myself. And so commands are basically similar to the lecture before, with the main difference that I created aliases for them. And you'll see the replaying has just finished. And so I made two commands. This is the command for recording. You'll see it puts a notification on the screen that it's recording. Then it uses Scene command to record. it records both the keyboard and the mouse, and it records for 60 seconds into this file. And finally, it sends a notification that it's finished recording. So I have attached these commands so that you don't have to write them from the screen. You can just copy and paste them. Then I made a replay command, which sends a notification to the screen. Then it replays those events. And finally, it says that it's finished recording. So these two commands, the record and replay command, record the screen for 1 minute and replay it. If you want a different time period, change your message and as well as the number of seconds. So in this case, 60 seconds is 1 minute. You can record for 15 minutes if you want, or for 5 seconds. Really depends on your preference. And also you can change the command names. So I named it rec and replay. And you can change those. Now if you're happy with the commands, you can set them in your bashrc or zshellrc file, so that each time you open a terminal, those commands are available. Now you can also run the xdo2 commands over SSH. So let's say you have a remote computer. You can connect to it over SSH. Then say export display is 0, so that will set the display variable. And then you can just say xdo2 mouse move, let's say 1010, and you see the mouse just moved. Or if I say 100 100, or maybe 300 400, so you see that moves the mouse over SSH. So you can create a script that connects over the network automatically and then automates a certain task. If you want to automate any X Windows system or any Linux desktop over SSH, you can do it like this. So when you run this script, it connects to the remote computer and then controls the desktop there. So in this case, the remote computer is localhost. This is how you connect to the computer with SSH, your username and your network IP address. And then use the quote to send your commands. And the command we'll do is to set the display variable. And then we can use xdo2, so we can tell it to move the mouse to 1010, and that will be done over the SSH connection. So let's try that out. We'll execute the script. So you want to make it executable with chmod +x, and then SSH, or whatever you called your script. And if we then run it, the mouse should move. So run it, it will ask for the password. And you'll see the mouse just moved. And this can be done for any type of script. So we can update the script a bit. And just one thing to keep in mind is that you should preferably have try it out on the remote desktop to know that you're clicking in the right positions. So we can send more commands here. Just add a semicolon, xdo2 mouse click, or click, and then 1, which is the left mouse button click. So that should open the menu. Now if you run the program again, you'll see now it clicks. It moves the mouse there and it also clicks there. And because this is the same computer, it shows on this display. Otherwise you'll have the output on another computer. If you don't want to type the SSH password each time you run the script, you can use the program SSH pass with your passwords, then your username and your network IP address, and then you can run the same command. So when you execute it, when you execute the bash script, it won't ask for your password and automatically control the desktop remotely.